the CHALL, mainly for Doncaster Rovers content, and welcome to this episode of the DRFC Daily Reports, bringing you the latest news from the brilliant Doncaster Rovers Football Club. We've got two major stories to talk about today. We've got an update on the Charlie Seaman contract, the young right back that used to be at AFC Bournemouth, that is now a free agent after leaving Bournemouth with his expiring contract. And also we're going to speak about the Charlton game because we've got some news on a fan pilot. So apparently fans are going to be in the Charlton Stadium as part of a pilot event that has now been approved by the government to test out fans in stadiums during the current COVID era of the planet. Now, before we talk about both stories, I have to say first of all thank you all so much for the support over the last week's videos. Over the last 7 days, we did the preview with Charlton fan Tyler Rowlandson. Obviously, he's done a lot of stuff on his channel and away from his channel as well. He was featured in Celtic Fan TV recently. He did a preview with Hammers Poles on the Carabao Cup game. Unlucky Charlton fans, you did lose that game unfortunately, but don't worry, West Ham will get beat by Arsenal in my opinion, so you're in the clear. And yeah, so you know he's done a lot of stuff recently, so massive shout out once again to Tyler for taking part in that video. We also did our daily reports over the past couple of days as well, and also we did the video yesterday speaking about Macclesfield Town up in High Court. And the support on that video has been magnificent. The fans' opinions in the comments down below that video was spectacular. So massive thank you for that video support. It really means a lot. And you know, I may not be a Macclesfield fan, but I needed to do that video because I need to give the coverage to these clubs because clearly no one else cares. So it means a lot to have that support on that video, especially with, you know, the situation with Macclesfield Town. And, you know, you could tell by the thumbnail with my little custom-made AFC Macclesfield badge that you just know what's going to happen. But focusing back on Rovers then, thank you very much for the support, and let's get into today's DRFC Daily Report. So let's start off with the latest on Charlie Seaman. So Doncaster Rovers continue to wait for an answer over the contract offer made to trialist Charlie Seaman, understood by the Free Press. The 20-year-old was handed a deal after impressing during his trial with Rovers earlier this month. Seaman featured in the friendly with Man United's under-21s, of course we battered them 5-0, and turned into a promising performance at right back. It helped convince boss Darren Moore to make an offer for the former Bournemouth defender, but so far there's been no definitive word from the youngsters' camp. Now, of course, Moore is keen to add cover at the right back position, with Brad Halliday the only senior player currently at the club with real experience in that position. Now, AJ Greaves, the young midfielder, has deputised in the role during pre-season, but his future is almost certainly in central midfield. Now, Seaman was released by Bournemouth in the summer, having been with the club since the under-18 level. He never made a senior appearance for the Cherries, but enjoyed loan spells at National League clubs Eastleigh and Maidstone United, along with Scottish club Dundee United. So there we go, that is the first story of today, talking about Charlie Seaman. So we're still waiting for a contract. Now, the big thing with me, and I spoke about it in the last episode of the Daily Reports, we spoke about those list of trialists for those of them who have gone, and of course we kept one now out of all those waves, and that is of course Charlie Seaman. Of course we've already signed Andy Butler and Ed Williams as well, but out of that, you know, if you include them into the 7 that I talked about, out of that 9 we signed 3, and you know, we were incredibly stubborn in the transfer market, but you know, we call it just looking for top targets. So you know, I don't think Rovers fans should worry. I think we will get the deal done. Hopefully it will be after the Charlton game and before, you know, the next game in the following weekend. But hopefully we can get the Charlie Seaman deal done. And, you know, I think it will be a definitive deal. I think if we do lose out on this player, I think the fact that we've offered him a contract shows that he's shown some very impressive signs, especially in that Man United friendly, with that 5-0 win over the Man United under-21s. And, you know, I definitely think that Charlie Seaman could have something to show. And, of course, we do need right-back cover positions. And I spoke about in a previous video how we do need a winger at each end as cover for Lakilo and Taylor, as well as Tulloch sometimes as well. We do need a cover right-back for Halliday, and we do need another out-and-out striker, along with Fajiri, John Jules and Tulloch. So I do think that those are the 4 positions we do need to invest in before the end of the window. And if we can't invest in those positions, then January is probably our next bet. But I think looking at Charlie Seaman, I think with the potential he's got, I think maybe he could definitely be a hidden gem in Charlie Seaman. So I think if Halliday gets injured or suspended, then he is definitely the option. But if we don't sign Seaman, then maybe AJ Greaves is the option we're going to have to use until we get a permanent right back in as cover for Halliday. But AJ Greaves is a central midfielder and not a right back, so even though he's trying to versatile himself, we do need cover in that specific position. So hopefully we can get the deal done. I mean, we don't want another Jordan Davis situation, but I've said my piece on that. I do think that Davis probably wasn't the right fit for us. I think that he'd be better off at his boyhood club Wrexham, but I think the way that, it happened with, we were waiting for the offer on the contract and then he went signed for Wrexham instead. It was kind of embarrassing on our front because we did offer the contract, he went to non-league instead. So I hope we don't have that same situation again with Charlie Seaman. But hopefully we can get the deal done just after the Charlton game. So I think just a little bit more waiting, just a couple more days, and then we'll be alright, hopefully. Now let's speak about the final story in today's DRFC Daily Reports, and this is on the fans piloting the Doncaster Charlton game. So, according to the Free Press, Doncaster Rovers will play in front of a crowd this weekend after their trip to Charlton Athletic was selected for a government pilot. 10 matches across the EFL have been chosen as pilot events for the return of supporters to stadiums, with a limit of 1,000 people permitted entry, and that will include Saturday's game at the Valley Stadium in Charlton. Now, the government will continue with discussions over whether a limited number of supporters can return to grounds across all sports from October the 1st, has been planned for some time. Now, supporters were permitted to enter Cambridge United's EFL Trophy Clash with Fulham under-21s last week, marking the first professional football match to have a crowd present since March. Now, the EFL chairman, Rick Parry, says it's encouraging that we are in the position to move forward with the next phase of the pilot programme and give a small number of our clubs the opportunity to welcome back up to 1,000 fans this week. The health and well-being of supporters and their wider communities remains the priority, but as we showed at Cambridge, social distancing can be applied safely. By attending across more EFL clubs, we hope to further demonstrate that the measures developed can allow fans to return in greater numbers from as early as next month. The requirement to welcome spectators back through turnstiles has not diminished in any way. The financial challenges facing the EFL clubs has been explained on numerous occasions, and they are substantial and a problem that requires immediate solutions. Now, the Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden says, "I know that many fans are eager to return to football and that jobs depend on this too, so fans will welcome news that the EFL will be running number-capped, COVID-secure and socially distant pilots this weekend." Now, this will help us to build the evidence base to see how fans can return safely in greater numbers as soon as it's safe to do so. Now, for those of you who need a full list of the pilot matches, here it is. We have 3 championship matches during the pilot programme. Luton Town hosting Derby County, Norwich City hosting Preston North End, and Middlesbrough hosting Bournemouth. In League 1, it is Charlton versus Doncaster, along with Blackpool versus Swindon, Shrewsbury versus Northampton, and Hull versus Crewe. And then in League 2, we've got Forest Green hosting Bradford, Carlisle hosting Southend, and Morecambe hosting the originators of the pilot programme, Cambridge United. So that there is the details on the pilot programme. So 1,000 permitted entry into Charlton, no away fans, just home fans, so it will be Charlton support. Does that give them an advantage? Yeah, I don't know. It could be an advantage. It definitely could rally the home side up, and I think that, obviously you can only have a select number of games to test this programme out, so I can completely understand why it's not the whole sort of games, and it will be, a gradual process. But at the meantime, we do have a fantastic fan base, don't get me wrong. But I think if we lose Charlton, I think deluded fans might blame the fact that they've had their home support and we've had no away support at the game. So, those with a brain cell will understand the situation. Yes, it's a help to Charlton, but we're responsible for our own results. So, I don't think it's an advantage at all. I think it should be no excuse to us playing the game. I think it shouldn't be an excuse at all. I think that we'll hopefully still go there and grab a victory. And, don't forget, tomorrow, match preview myself. I'll be doing my preview before the game. Obviously, we did like a broad preview at the start of the week with Tyler from Charlton Fans. And, we'll be doing a preview again tomorrow, looking at my final predicted lineup. I'll be double-checking his predicted lineup from the start of the week and sharing it with you guys as well. So, there we go. That is looking at the latest stories on this episode of the DRFC Daily Reports. Again, thank you guys so much for the support on the Macclesfield video and all the videos, at the start of the week, the DRFC Daily Reports, the video with Tyler, the Charlton fan, predicting the game and talking about the EFL in general, and we both agreed that EFL's a disgrace for letting Macclesfield start to go under, and Wigan, and obviously Charlton will hopefully get the deal done with Sangard as the owner. And if they don't, well, you know who to blame, don't you? But there we go. So thank you very much, guys. Stay tuned tomorrow for your match preview in the afternoon. We'll be talking about Charlton Athletic, talking about the manager, talking about the current crisis a little bit, and talking about my predicted lineup for Rovers, as well as talking about Tyler's predicted lineup for Charlton Athletic from the start of the week, and share my predicted scoreline. So thank you very much, guys. I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers channel. And for now, guys, goodbye.